The rich kids laughed as they pushed a poor girl toward the aggressive German shepherd. But instead of attacking, the dog did something that froze everyone in disbelief. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Mia lived in a weathered little house at the edge of town, its paint peeling and garden overgrown. She was used to whispers behind her back, used to the snickers. When she wore the same shoes 2 years in a row. What she wasn't used to was being in the same space as the rich kids from the hill. They traveled in packs, their confidence loud, their laughter sharper than broken glass. Among them was Tyler, the son of a real estate mogul, who owned an enormous German shepherd named Brutus. Everyone in town knew Brutus, broad shoulders, teeth like ivory knives, and a growl that made even grown men step back. Mia had only ever seen the dog from a distance, behind the tall iron gates of the mansion. She never imagined she'd come face to face with him. But that day, the line between their worlds was about to disappear. It started with a sneer. Mia was walking past the stables on her way home when she heard the familiar sound of laughter, sharp, mocking, and directed at her. Tyler and his friends lounged near the fence, dressed in spotless suits as if they'd just stepped out of a magazine. "Well, look who's here," Tyler called out, smirking. "Little Miss Charity Case." His friends chuckled, exchanging smug glances. Mia kept walking, eyes down, but that only seemed to egg them on. One of them jerked his thumb toward the side yard where Brutus paced restlessly, his chain clinking. With every step. "Bet she's scared of the dog," he said. Tyler grinned. "Of course she is. She's probably never been this close to a Real Guard dog in her life." Mia's chest tightened. She wasn't scared, at least not of Brutus. But she knew that arguing would only feed their cruelty. Then Tyler's voice cut through the air like a dare. "Go on, walk up to him. Prove you're not a coward." The other boys started chanting, their voices mocking and loud. The German shepherd stopped pacing, his eyes locking on Mia. It was no longer just a dare, it was a trap. Mia hesitated, her gaze flicking between the dog and the boys. She could hear Brutus's low growl rumbling like distant thunder, his eyes sharp and unblinking. The fence separating them suddenly felt too thin, too fragile. Before she could speak, one of Tyler's friends stepped behind her. "Come on," he taunted, giving her a nudge. She stumbled forward, catching herself just before her knees hit the dirt. Laughter erupted behind her. Tyler leaned against the fence, smirking. "Not close enough," he said. And with a quick, hard shove from another boy, Mia fell forward, landing just a few feet from where Brutus's chain stretched taut. The dog lunged, his paws kicking up sand, teeth bared in a flash of white. The chain rattled violently as he barked, the sound so loud it made her flinch. The boys roared with laughter, some doubling over, their expensive shoes sinking into the arena's dirt. Mia's palms stung from the fall, her heart pounding so hard it hurt. She could feel the dog's hot breath as he snarled, the distance between them disappearing with every lunge. The boys expected her to scream, to scramble away in terror. But Mia didn't move. Not yet. The world around her seemed to fade, replaced by the pounding of her heartbeat and the deep, guttural growls of Brutus. His muscles were coiled, ready to spring, eyes burning with intensity. The chain clinked as he strained against it, closing the gap inch by inch. Mia's first instinct was to crawl backward, to get as far away from those teeth as possible. But something in Brutus's gaze stopped her. Beneath the aggression, there was something else, a flicker of recognition, almost curiosity. Behind her, the boys jeered. "What's the matter, scared? Thought you were brave." Their voices felt distant, muffled by the rush of blood in her ears. Instead of screaming, Mia slowly shifted to her knees, her hands trembling. She extended one toward him, palm open, fingers steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. Brutus barked once, sharp and loud, but didn't lunge this time. His ears twitched, his nostrils flaring as he caught her scent. Mia whispered, her voice soft but clear. "It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." The boys' laughter faltered, replaced by murmurs of confusion. They leaned in, unsure of what they were seeing. Something was changing, and none of them could explain it. Brutus's growls softened, shifting into low, uncertain rumbles. His tail, once rigid, gave a small twitch. The boys behind the fence went quiet, exchanging bewildered glances. Mia kept her hand out, her voice barely above a whisper. "You remember me, don't you?" She didn't know why she said it, only that something in his eyes felt familiar. The massive German shepherd stepped closer, the chain loosening as his stance relaxed. He sniffed her fingers, his warm breath brushing against her skin. Then, to everyone's astonishment, he licked her hand. Gasps erupted from the group. Tyler's smirk vanished, replaced by a furrowed brow. "What the?" one of the boys muttered. Mia's chest swelled with relief. She reached up slowly, brushing her fingers over his fur. Brutus leaned into her touch, his eyes softening as if all the tension had melted away. The boys, once eager to watch chaos unfold, now stood frozen, their cruel entertainment unraveling before them. Brutus gave a single, deep sigh and sat down beside her, his body language protective rather than hostile. The silence that followed was heavy. For the first time, the rich kids weren't in control, Mia was. And it was the last thing they expected. Before anyone could process what was happening, a woman's voice rang out from the porch of the mansion. "Brutus, what's going on out here?" Mrs. Alden, Tyler's mother, strode toward the yard, her heels clicking against the stone path. Her eyes widened at the sight, her notoriously aggressive guard dog sitting calmly beside a girl he was supposed to despise. "Mia," she said, her tone shifting from confusion to recognition. I know you." The boys turned toward her in surprise. Mia lowered her hand, but didn't move away from Brutus. "I used to help your groundskeeper," she said softly. "When Brutus was a puppy, before you got him trained as a guard dog, I fed him sometimes. He wasn't like this back then." Mrs. Alden's face softened as she remembered. "That's right. You lived near the old caretaker's cottage. You were the one who used to carry biscuits in your pocket for him." Tyler's jaw clenched. He glanced at Brutus, who was now lying at Mia's feet like a loyal companion. The truth was out. Brutus didn't see Mia as a threat. To him, she wasn't a stranger, she was family. And that bond was stronger than any training. Mrs. Alden's gaze shifted from Mia to the group of boys, her expression hardening. "What exactly were you doing?" she asked, her voice sharp. Tyler shuffled his feet. "We were just joking around," he muttered. "Joking?" Her tone rose. "You shoved her toward an aggressive dog. That's not a joke. That's dangerous for both of them." She looked at each boy in turn, her eyes narrowing. "You could have caused serious harm." The boys fell silent, their earlier bravado gone. Even Tyler avoided her glare. Mrs. Alden turned back to Mia, her voice softening. "I'm sorry they treated you this way. You showed more courage and kindness than they deserved." Mia glanced down at Brutus, who still lay protectively beside her, his eyes watching the boys. "It's okay," she said quietly. "I'm just glad he's all right." But Mrs. Alden wasn't finished. "You will all apologize to her now," she instructed. One by one, the boys mumbled apologies, their faces flushed with embarrassment. Tyler's was the last and the quietest. Brutus let out a low huff, almost as if he approved of the shift in power. For once, the bullies weren't laughing, and they knew they'd been put in their place. As the boys drifted away in awkward silence, Brutus stood and shook out his fur before falling into step beside Mia. His once aggressive stance was now calm, his head held low in quiet loyalty. Mrs. Alden walked with them toward the gate. "I'd like you to visit him anytime you want," she said warmly. "It's clear he trusts you more than anyone here." Mia smiled, reaching down to scratch behind Brutus's ears. "He was never the monster they made him out to be," she murmured. "Sometimes, people just don't look past the growl." The big dog leaned against her leg, a silent guardian. For the first time that day, Mia felt no fear, only a strange sense of pride. She had walked into a trap meant to humiliate her, and walked out with the loyalty of the fiercest dog in town. As she headed home, Brutus trotting happily beside her, she thought about how quickly cruelty can crumble when met with patience and kindness. The rich kids had wanted to see her run. Instead, they saw her stand her ground. And in that moment, Mia knew she'd proven something far more important than bravery. She'd proven that compassion always wins.